picks up a first down.
And I'm going to go back to, we talked to our friends, Charles Bishop and Neely. They follow Jackson State football and having dinner with them. I mean, they said this team feels like nobody can score 3 times on them. 3 times. He didn't say if it was 3 field goals, 3 touchdowns. Prairie View has scored twice. Touchdown, field goal. That's how good this defense is. And, whoa, they are as good as advertised.
4th best in all of FCS.
It got to get to the point where whoever we're doing the broadcast that week of the game, they're going to have to sit down with y'all because y'all know us better than everybody.
Sure.
And y'all know some of the inside stuff
we do.
That I may not tell them because I don't trust them. But
sure. Trust us.
Trust y'all.
We appreciate that.
We
trust.
appreciate that, Coach. Much love, baby.
Are you ready for an upgrade? Then come see what we have to offer at the newly renovated Cadillac of Jackson. You'll be able to browse our wide variety of pre-owned vehicles with great prices. Plus, we've also got Cadillac certified pre-owned vehicles that have been tested, inspected, and ready to go. Our team is here and excited to help you with any of your vehicle needs. Visit today and find your next pre-owned vehicle at the brand new state-of-the-art facility at Cadillac of Jackson, Mississippi's exclusive family-owned Cadillac dealer.
Hey, it's Warren Sapp, number 99 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Whenever I look for Jackson State or Coach Prime information, I go to the Pregame Show.
Here at Cadillac of Jackson, we are excited to show you our brand new state-of-the-art facility. Inside our luxurious showroom, come and browse some of our newest models. When you purchase a new or certified pre-owned Cadillac, we'll have it detailed and waiting for you in our beautiful delivery bay. We've even designed a comfortable waiting room with free Wi-Fi to use as needed while your vehicle is being taken care of by one of our certified technicians. Visit today and find your next vehicle at the newly renovated Cadillac of Jackson.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the Pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the Pregame.
And welcome into the Pregame Show midweek edition. Bishop Neely here on a Wednesday night, and we are coming off of a homecoming victory. Neely, what's going on, my brother?
Man, can I complain? Coming off a homecoming victory, just talking with AD, our producer in the background about Pop-Tarts and something else. Shout out to AD Drew, baby.
Yes, indeed.
They can't hear or see AD, but we appreciate your work, brother, and your pregame show commentary before we go live.
AD Drew, the Black College Sports Network. Thank you, my brother. Well, the Tigers coming off a 22-14 homecoming win over Campbell. I tell you what, Neely, you take a look at this game. Campbell, 121 yards, I believe, in the first quarter, limited to 126 yards the rest of the way. The defense, again, we say it week in, week out, man. They came to play. A theme there. We came to play. How about this?
I love it. I love it. Look at you, Chuck. You ready, man. You are ready. Chuck, once again, another game where at moments it felt like, uh-oh. But when you get to the end of the game, regardless of the score, when you get to the end of the game and you start looking at the stats on yards, on third down completion, third down conversions, on pass completions, etc., you really start to see that, oh man, they were never really in it, but yet they were. It was a very tough opponent, well coached team, well prepared, matched up well, and when the offense got flat in the red zone, the defensive intensity, when it was their turn to go out there, I mean, it just didn't waver. It gave up, a fluke play like we always do from time to time. So that 22-14 is kind of misleading. It was really more like 22-7. But in that 22-14, I think there's some lessons learned about how you don't stop playing, because get this, Chuck, they get that onside kick, and if they score and get a 2-point conversion, we're going in overtime.
We're going,
3 minutes before that, the game was absolutely over.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you take a look at the score. I believe it was 22-7, and then they get this score at the end of the game. So we kind of had to hunker back down right at the end of the game and cover that onside attempt. But great job, and we'll do it in inverse order today. We'll talk about this defense. Aubrey Miller, FCS National Defensive Player of the Week, 13 well deserved, 13 solo stops. FedEx Ground FCS National Defensive Player of the Week, I should say. SWAG Defensive Player of the Week. But you talk about Aubrey flying around in this game, but hey, he had that eye, and you don't want to be in his way when he has that eye coming for you, buddy.
Yeah, had that eye, man, and he was, when you just look at the ups and downs of the season, you had that targeting call where he had to sit a half, going as Bethune. So this was like a full game back, if you will, and had that eye all week. In the locker room, was passionate, making sure everybody was locked in, because there were a lot of celebrities around, a lot of reasons to get unfocused with it being homecoming. And he was one of those team leaders who was saying, hey man, we got to lock in. And when you look at the accolades that he got, his performance that week, man, think about the ones that got away. How many almost sacks did we have? How many almost tackles did we have? I mean, he was flying around and leading that bunch. So really no surprise that he was defensive player of the game, and then got some national honors for his performance that week as well. And he is still tracking and trending to be one of those guys that has a NFL future from Jackson State. And that's one of the things Coach Prime has really harped on, is like, if we're going to go next level, you got to be dominant. We got to prove that we can play in a dominant fashion and go to the next level. And if anybody from the NFL looks at the game tape versus Campbell, and what a team to do it against.
Precisely.
Another top 25 team, another team with a top 15, I think they were, recruiting class, a team that has done well, against Power Fives, and then you have a player who gets national defensive honors during that game. Man, what a game to show up and really show that you can be dominant.
Yeah, we said this game was going to be won in the trenches. Definitely Jackson State's defensive line came to play in this one. But then you take a look at it. You take a look at the factors that we brought out in the pregame show. This was the biggest FCS offensive line that this Tiger team was going to see. They averaged something ridiculous across the front, like 330 plus or something to that effect. But huge offensive line, but our defensive line was able to get the job done and limit that ground attack from Campbell this past week.
Say, dog, you're about to get mad at me. You're about to get mad at me. Now, who more than Neely loves this Tiger defense? Who has been singing the praises of this Tiger defense since spring ball, other than or unlike Neely? But I got to tell you, when it comes to that D line, I'm gonna give them a C, Chuck, on this performance. When your linebackers and safeties are getting all those tackles in the game, it means they're getting through their front. And we're used to stopping that run at the line of scrimmage or shortly thereafter. And we gave up some things with people out of position. And when I say a C, in the real world, Chuck, is probably a B plus. But the
Mm-hmm.
standard at Jackson State and the standard under Coach Prime and the standard under Dennis Thurman, I guess, is wearing off on me. And I saw some moments where the tackling could have been better, the alignment and the assignment and the technique could have been better. But at the end of the day, the job was done. Tigers got out of there with a 22-14 victory. The defense, once again, man, we just don't let people score more than twice on us, and sometimes they only score once.
Great point. You're starting to get a little that Dennis Thurman Russian judge in you, Neil.
Hey, man, you just walk around with a frown on your face because I don't care what's right, something ain't right, So, hey, speaking of, man, I was on campus today in the makeshift studio that we commandeered for the pregame show, and Dennis Thurman walked by a couple of times with that scowl and kind of looked at me like, hey, man, you ain't doing nothing. Like and so I turned up the volume so he could hear. I was editing something for Coach Prime, because you just can't not be doing nothing. Like you gotta be busy when he walks by.
You can't not be doing that. That is so true with Dennis Thurman. I tell you what, the perpetual scowl from Dennis Thurman, buddy. I tell you. I tell you, we take a look on the offensive side of the ball. Savion Wilkerson, SWAC newcomer of the week, had another huge game, 24 carries, 116 yards. We said the offense was kind of clunky at times this past week, but Savion, man, he is a bellwether with regards to this Jackson State offense, a ground attack, man, and it makes such a difference for this offense.
When you look at Shedeur Sanders with his touchdown pass to DJ Stevens, and you have to realize the momentum swing that provided for the game. But there's a reason that Savion is the offensive player of the game, because the way we were able to control the clock and manage the game and get first downs and ground and pound and literally test the wheel of their defense. And after you tackle Savion once or twice, you really don't want to tackle him a third or fourth time.
That's
he just knows how to make you bend to his will with that physicality. So, I'm walking out to the 50-yard line with Coach Prime to record, the exchange between the two coaches at the end of the game, if you will. And I'm hearing Richard on the PA system announcing Savion is offense player of the game, and I just had to do that Tiger Woods, like that fist pump, because that guy was literally the heart and soul of this team this past weekend, man. Like I don't know where we are during that game if it's not for his ground attack and what he was doing.
No doubt about it. We take a look at the Jackson State passing game. Shedeur Sanders, 23 of 31, 233 yards, 411 yards of total offense for Jackson State. And we talked a little bit about this game against Campbell sort of being, that quotation marks measuring stick, because y'all ain't playing nobody. Y'all ain't playing nobody.
Man, you sound just like him. Or at least when they type it, that's how I read it.
Right, exactly. But this Tiger team, they came through, and let's not leave out the special teams. They bogged down in the red zone, quite honestly. But it's always refreshing when you can come up with some points down in the red zone. Squiggy, another big game for Jackson State in terms of Alejandro Mayer, in terms of knocking in those field goals, getting points, coming away with points makes a huge difference with regards to this Jackson State offense. Always coming away with something.
Yeah, math is math, man. 3 times 3 is 9, Chuck, and 9 is 2 more than 7. And when you're struggling to score against a team, and you're doing all you can to score against a team, and you just can't find a way to score, and then you finally do, and then they got 3 field goals, you're like, damn, it took me all that time to get 7. I don't know if I got 14 in me. And so when you have a guy like Mata, as Coach Prime calls him, Squiggy, it doesn't matter where he is on the field, he can make it. He's automatic. It just changes how you call the game, how you manage the game, because all right, I still got the big joker in my hand. Like I know I know no matter how many books I've lost, I'm going to win one book because he's going to get me 3 points. And so it just changes the complexity and the math of game management that he can go out there and nail them. We did have a PAT blocked And that's something that they been working on this week, to clean up and fix that. So that doesn't happen, because the only misses he's had this year have come from blocks. And so he is that guy, Chuck, and we need him big time. Here's what's funny when you talk about the standard. You talked about QB1 Shadur's numbers. Hit me with those numbers again, Chuck. I want to show you something.
Shadur's numbers are 20. Let me pull it up real quick. 23 of 31 for 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
23 of 31. Don't have a calculator in front of him. That's probably still churning around 70+%, 70, 77%, something like that.
Yeah.
200 plus yards, a touchdown pass, 1 interception. So the ratio there is clean. And you talk about the standard, Chuck, like that's a bad game.
You're right.
Like a guy throws for 70% completion, and it's a bad game. Like, what are teams going to do when we score on special teams, and not just field goals and PATs, but a house call? What are they going to do when we have a defensive score in the same game? And what are you going to do when he's 40 or 50 passing and 4 touchdowns? Like, that's how on the cusp this team is, the fine line between we're winning. Like, and most of these games are not even close when you look at the statistical data. They're close on the scoreboard on a quarter or two. But what's going to happen, Chuck, when we really turn that corner and all these things line up like it did against FAMU, or like it did that first quarter in Jacksonville against Bethune-Cookman? I mean, like, we're right there, man.
You're almost, waiting on that other shoe to drop, because it's going to happen at some point. What a weekend.
I don't know if our audience is, most of our audience probably ain't old enough to know about the other shoe dropping, That's when Mister's in the bed, when you heard the other shoe hit the floor.
Boy, that's why I just tee them up for you, I swear.
Yeah. And then you also date us. I mean, my gray beard and your bald head dates us, but then you say stuff like the other shoe dropping. Chuck, that's like saying dropping a dime. And these folks watching ain't never used no payphone, man. What you say about dropping no dime? Make no call.
Exactly. Well, a huge 22-14 win over Campbell. Of course, post-game comments. Let's go ahead and roll those post-game comments from Coach Prime and others.
Take about that last 7, but we'll take it. Tough fought victory, well coached team. We overcame some adversity, and we went out there and got it. We got the W. That's what it's all about.
You've often said the best games are games that could have gone either way. That's what people remember. There were moments in this game it looked like it could go either way.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this team is good. You can't take it for granted. I know we're undefeated, but sometimes people think that stuff is easy. This is not easy what we're doing out here. This is not easy what these young men are accomplishing. This is not easy what these coaches are accomplishing. This stuff is hard. I know we may make it seem as though it's easy, but this is not easy whatsoever.
You talked about on Friday at practice, you knew there was going to be overcome.
Yeah, I talked about it in the meeting as well, but we overcame adversity. We made some mistakes that we don't normally make, especially that. I'm not going to talk about the interception right now. I'm going to put him up for adoption right now. We was talking about that doing the fight song. I said, dog, I'm still mad right now, right? But he has to learn from that and just take what they give him.
You've said that we're going to have penalties, but we got to work on the timing of them.
Yes.
Had a false start that took away a red zone opportunity, some other penalties.
And we fumbled. We don't normally, well, yes, we do. We normally do stupid stuff like that. If we want to be dominant and go down in history as one of the best that ever played it, we got to be consistent, and we got to eliminate those little necessities that keep holding us back to our true destiny.
Big homecoming victory next week around Southern's going to be 60,000.
Can you let me get through tonight? Enjoy tonight. I'm going to go get with the DO and my beautiful lady here, and we're going to do that tonight, all right? Leave Southern where they are right now. I love them. I can't wait to see us perform against them. But
DJ, big day.
Yeah, that was my first college touchdown. It's been a long time coming, but I just stayed down, kept working hard, stayed humble, and trusted the process.
Now, as a guy that's at practice all the time, man, I see what Coach Brew does with you and the way he coaches you up, and it paid off today.
Yeah, so I love Coach Brew. He one of the best coaches I done had my whole life. He always pushed me. he always going to get the best out of me every day, and that's all you can ask for as a player.
Now, what was going through your mind on that release when you were wide open and the ball is coming to you?
We've been running it all week at practice, and it's been open all week. I just had to trust the play. Couldn't rush it. I knew I was going to be wide open. Just had to trust it, catch the ball, and get in the end zone.
We will be seeing our tight end in the end zone any more this season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they finna start coming now. Just had to get that first one.
Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Hey, Shedeur Sanders, homecoming victory.
Yeah, homecoming win. Come on. You knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you found your tight end for a big touchdown.
Great play call. That's all it is. Great play call.
It was a great play call. The running game got going too, and that opened up some other things.
Nah, it most definitely did. We started off slow. We stayed consistent in the run game, and, the rest is history. You see the score. 2014. We got to finish better, though, but we got to win homecoming week.
Head coach didn't want to look ahead, but I'm going to look ahead with you. Southern comes to town next week.
Yeah, got to lock in and focus. Same thing we did with this week, but we got to emphasize more running the ball and then just get better offensively.
I believe.
Those done. Nothing there.
2 out. The Memphis way and the Bouette way.
Come on, man. I don't even know what to say. I'm in the business just like every week. You know what I'm saying?
I know what to say.
This shit don't stop.
Do not stop.
Stamina.
We take it day by day, man. We do our job, be consistent, and it's easy. At the end of the day, it's the Bouette way.
Defense, man, we really didn't even bend today. We certainly didn't break.
We had a few mistakes, but like I said, it just hurt ourselves, man. We didn't do anything we didn't think they was going to do. Tackles not wrapping up and footwork, man, that just will hurt us. So we got to make sure that we clear everything up, get ready for next week.
Dog, how many almost sacks did y'all have today?
At least about 15. We just got to, be consistent. And the kids being consistent and just being on the same page. As long as we're on the same page, everything should be falling in place. You know what I'm saying?
Big rival coming to town next week, Southern from Baton Rouge.
We're gonna break it down just like we broke down every other team. We're gonna great practice, great preparation. We're gonna do a wonderful job. We're gonna make it ready.
I'm headed to Ellis Seafood. I'm ordering the 5 and the 32.
Hey, the Bouette way.
Shit don't stop stamina.
Stamina game.
Yeah, it's the Bouette way, baby. Hey, shout out to Brian Johnson out there in the live chat. Brian Johnson said the coin toss will be close, the bands might be close, but the game ain't gonna be close.
How about that? Put it out there for him, Brian. I love it.
Yeah.
Nearly final thoughts as we wrap up Jackson State and Kemp.
Again, Chuck, just emphasis on that score and the score kind of being misleading. 22-14 final score, 9-7 at halftime. But when you drill down that data and see how this defense stopped that running game, really not as close as it appears on the scoreboard. And when you look at what we have to clean up in the red zone, we had a turnover in the red zone. We had to settle for field goals in the red zone. We had a penalty to take a safety off the board. We still left about 20 to 24 points out there. And I ain't talking about no imaginary points, like legit points out there. This is still a 42 to 49 point a game capable on a bad day offense. And if the defense continues to hold people to 14 or less, these 30, 35 point victories are the norm.
Very good point. Very good point. Well, let's turn the page. Southern Jaguars come to town.
I'm like a Tombstone. I hate them. You don't even know that, man. I hate them anyway.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. When you take a look at Southern Jackson State, a rivalry like none other. What comes to mind is, that good interstate rivalry, whether you're talking about Ohio State, Michigan, or Alabama, LSU, things of that nature. But Jackson State Southern, let's take a look at it. Both of them come in 1 and 2 in a lot of rankings in the SWAC. Scoring average, Jackson State is first at 40.9 points per game. Southern, 39.9. Total offense, Jackson State is first, 495 yards a game. Southern comes in at 460 yards a game. Rushing defense, Jackson State number 1, limiting teams only 73 yards a game. Southern number 2 at 96 yards per game. A lot more stats: scoring defense, red zone TDs, total defense. Jackson State 1, Southern 2. This is going to be a fun one. And let's not forget, ESPN Game Day will be in the building this weekend. So looking forward to it, Neil.
Yeah, let's start that last thing first, man. ESPN Game Day, College Game Day is coming to Jackson. Going to be set up at the vet. The bus arrives on campus tomorrow, Thursday at 5 p.m. So calling out all of Jackson to be at 1400 Lynch Street for the arrival of the College Game Day bus. You know, that just signals what's going to be happening this weekend. Desmond Howard was already in town doing some of his pregame interviews. Got to spend some time with him. You get a quick chat that we had with him back there in the YouTube feed. So exciting times, man. College Game Day is just a whole nother level. You know, you talk about the dominance that Coach Prime wanted to build and putting Jackson State and HBCUs on the map. No better signal outside of players getting drafted and that kind of thing than College Game Day showing up to your school for a game. So it's going to be a big deal. It is a big deal, and it's going to be a major part of the pageantry that takes place before we put this whipping on Southern Jaguars show.
And let's talk about the pageantry. You mentioned College Game Day coming to town. And for those who are not familiar with College Game Day, I mean, for a lot of us college football fans, this is how we start the day with Lee Corso, Kirk, and others with regards to, that college football Saturday. This is a huge deal for it to be at Jackson State v. Southern.
Yeah, it is a huge deal, Chuck. And, there are cultures and there are subcultures, and you got people who are into certain things. And a lot of times in the HBCU space, our Saturday mornings, we're out there setting up the tailgate and we're tailgating. We're not necessarily watching TV. But College Game Day is one of those subcultures of college football that has become a mainstream thing. Like that program from 8 a.m. Central to 11 a.m. Central, 3 hours. Yes, they talk about all the games that are taking place. They do their picks and that kind of thing, but it takes place from the atmosphere of one particular matchup. And for them to be with the HBCU, Jackson State Southern, with that rivalry, it is just huge for both brands. It's huge for HBCUs. It's huge for college football. And it's one of those things that this is done right, and it is done in a manner that matches and exceeds what College Game Day is used to. You could see this thing happening again and again and again as we struggle and we fight to knock down walls, as Coach Reed puts it, and level the playing field. So, man, this is beyond a big deal. Had the opportunity to sit in on a meeting with Coach Prime, and he called in various department heads from the Sonic Boom director, Dr. Little, head of JSET's campus police chief, to just talk about, man, what are we going to do to make this right, getting the information out. Because, again, a lot of people – may not be familiar with the program and the making of signs and the getting out there early. And it doesn't matter what the damn weather is, Chuck.
Doesn't matter.
It is a big damn pep rally, and it's taking place in the vet parking lot. So we're encouraging everybody, Southern fans, Jackson State fans, City of Jackson residents, get to the vet Saturday morning and witness history as College Game Day is at the vet for Jackson State versus Southern, Chuck. Hey, and Chuck, I know we're going to get into some stuff, but I already started on my signs, and I made a sign, and then my original sign came up missing, so I had to make another sign.
How did I know that there was going to be some Neely reference to Chuck Bishop?
Hey, man, Chuck Bishop stole my damn sign. He ain't swag. So, look, we're going to have some fun with it, Chuck. Now, So we're going to be promoting it next couple of days, doing some other interviews, that kind of thing. But, hey, man, let's get into these Southern Jaguars before we really get deep in them. Oh, other thing, Chuck, we got to mention, we will not be live Saturday morning like we normally are. We're doing a live show Friday. So, again, pregame show will be live Friday, not Saturday morning. And then we're going to really get deep into Southern Jaguar matchup.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the players of note for Southern. We started at the quarterback position, Rashawn McCray. He comes into this game. He's a dual threat, thrown for over 1,700 yards, 1,300 yards passing. You take a look at his rushing stats, 411 yards passing, total of 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns altogether. 12 passing, 5 rushing. They have a stable of running backs, just like Jackson State. They rushed for 927 yards, 11 touchdowns on the season in the passing game. 6 players have 10 catches or more. They are led by Chandler Whitfield's 18 catches. So we'll get into the deep dive on that Friday night show. But defensively, they only allow 18.4 points per game, 271 yards total for opponents in SWAC play. This is always going to be a tough battle when you're talking about Jackson State and Southern. Throw the records out, throw all the accoutrements out. This rivalry is just unbelievable. We've grown up within it. Southern, broke our 28-game win streak. We broke their hearts 2010, the Casey Terrio miracle. This is a fun rivalry.
Yeah, it is, man. Back on that QB reminds us somewhat of Jalen Jones. A guy that's going to use his legs, 60 runs, so he ain't scared to get outside that pocket. I do think he's probably a better passer than he is a runner, so they're going to challenge us deep at times. And number 24 is that primary back that we got to put a body on and make sure our linebackers are disciplined. But I know, Chuck, when we get to Friday night, which is typical Saturday morning, we're going to get in all their personnel alignments and what they like to do. But they're going to come here to try to pass the ball. Weather dependent, we're a passing team, they're a passing team. They are number 2 in a lot of things that we're number 1 in. And so this is the overwhelming leader of the SWAC East hosting the leader of the SWAC West, but the West is still kind of competitive. It could go. It is. It could go either way. There's really some teams in the East that just, if the wheels fall off, they can't catch up with us. But the West ain't really been won or clear cut yet. That Southern Alcorn matchup did give you some separation there, but they're coming in here hungry because even though we have divisions in the SWAC, all these games matter unless it's listed as a non-conference, such as when we hosted Grambling. So you said it best, Chuck. It's a rivalry. Records go out the window. They don't like us. We hate them. The fans are going to be spirited. The only thing worse than a woman out of Washita Parish, Monroe, is one out of Scotlandville. Like, trust me, I've done the research. I've crunched the numbers. You can take this to the bank. Like this, learn from Neely's mistakes. Don't go out there and make your own, people.
Yep, I concur, sir.
Yeah, it's something special. You know what? Let me get my mark and change my sign. Chuck didn't steal my sign. A woman from Baton Rouge stole my sign. Them thugs.
I can always count on it. Oh, man, this is going to be a fun one. We will do the deep dive Friday night live this week, the pregame show, man. Looking forward to it.
Chuck B. Dig this, man. Dig this. I know we always say we're going to say something for Saturday and then we get into it, but Southern has won 4 games in a row. Clearly, we've run 4 in a row because we haven't lost. Mm-hmm. We put up 49 points, 26 points, 48 points, 22 points. Their offense has put up 59 points, 45 points, 21 points, and 51 points. Now, none of that has come against the Jackson State defense that's still averaging around giving up 9, maybe 12 points after this past weekend. It's going to be interesting to see who can still hit their averages in this matchup.
I like that. That is
when the immovable object meets the irresistible force, what's going to happen? Will we be held below our rushing average, or will we hold them below theirs? Will we match our point totals, or will they get theirs? Because for them to get theirs, something astronomical has to happen with our defense, because our defense ain't gave up none of the points that they've scored. Whereas their defense has given up some of the points that we've scored. They've just been able to win games. So, Chuck, it's like that Campbell game. This is a good measuring stick now. When you look at when you look at the data, when you look at the analytics, this is a great one to be at, to witness. It's going to be one of those games where 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, just like that Casey Terrio game you talked about. Yeah. I almost cussed. Just say mofo. You got people lying saying they was at the game, because it was that big of a deal. This is one of the games. I don't care if it rains, y'all. Go get you a damn poncho. Do what you got to do. Be at the game.
Go get your rain suits now. We'll get into the weather on Friday, but like I said, you throw throw out all of it. It doesn't matter if it's rain. The boom will tell you, it don't rain on the boom. I was sitting in the stands when it was a thunderstorm, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, both bands wouldn't leave. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is the beauty of this game. And I always say, when somebody would ask me about Southern, I said, it's like that cousin that comes to family reunion. You really don't mess with them, but you have to. And that's who they are. They're that first cousin you really don't care for all that much.
Well, like I said last week, when Southern's been to town, when the toilet don't flush and the cat's pregnant. So ain't nothing changed. So you better believe when they go back with that L, the toilet's gonna be stopped up and the cat gonna be pregnant.
Boy, you bring it hard and heavy every week. I always know it's coming. We will get into so much more this Friday. It is Jackson State v. Southern. Bring your signs to College Game Day. It's going to be a fun one, folks. Looking forward to it. The pregame show will be there right there with you. Neely, parting words for our Jackson State fan base or our visitors coming up from Baton Rouge.
Parting words to the Jackson State fan base and all visitors coming up from Baton Rouge. If you're here for Thursday, get over to the campus. The music starts at 4 p.m. Thursday. The bus from ESPN College Game Day pulls up at 5 p.m. They're going to come down that Lynch Street, Prentice, that entrance by FD Music Hall is where everything's going to be the hub of the activity for the bus coming to town. College Game Day will be live from the vet, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Signs, noise, do your thing out there, but you don't want to get there at 8 a.m. If you want to get one of those prime spots and be seen on TV with your sign, probably going to have to pull up by 6:30 or 7 a.m. Of course, kickoff is going to be a 1 p.m. kickoff. It's a pink out game, so wear some pink in honor of breast cancer. Bring some pink accessories. Do what you got to do. And to the folks coming up here, I ain't got nothing for y'all. I don't. I have nothing for y'all.
Shout out to my good brother Carlos Brown of the Carlos Brown Show as he's checking us out tonight. We got a birthday present for you, Carlos. Come on up to Jackson.
Oh, yeah, this game is typically around his birthday. Yeah. Last year. Hey, and speaking of, the dates don't necessarily match up well. And I think we told Drew we was going to do a 30-minute show tonight. We're getting about there. The dates don't exactly match up. But, another thing to consider about this rivalry, there's a little spice to it. When we played Southern down in Baton Rouge last year, this was the game where Coach Prime made his return. It was about a 38-degree night. Coach was about down 30 pounds. A lot of people didn't know at the time, still dealing with some open wounds from his surgery, but he got up out that hospital to come be with his Tigers and coached us and wheeled us to victory down there. Another thing to consider, Chuck, that we're going to get into deeper on Friday night. We've beaten this team twice. Hey, Neely, what do you mean we beat them twice? We beat Prairie View for the SWAC championship. This is a remake of what Prairie View brought to the table because of the coaching staff there. But we're going to talk about all that later on, Chuck.
We'll talk about that later on. Eric Dooley in his first season there on the bluff down there with Southern. Looking forward to it, man. We will get into more of this conversation, Jackson State v. Southern, on Friday. Until Friday, it's Bishop, it's Neely, it's the pregame show, Jackson State v. Southern. What could be better?
If I cash app you $40, Chuck, can I get my sign back?
Man, if you don't, get out of here. We'll see you Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the pregame.